Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Bold and the beautiful, Steffy cruel, Hope selfish, which one's right? Bold and the Beautiful pits Steffy Forrester against Hope Logan again, but this time they both have some valid points on the CBS soap. Although they also each have some invalid points as well, as B and B fans point out today. Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline Matsinswood, went from giving Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, advice to demanding he leave the country. She even called the airport to check that the FC jet held plenty of gas. She did this in case her brother decided to take her advice and take off at a moment's notice to Paris. Steffy is desperate to pull her brother away from Hope Logan, Annika Noel. This brings Bold and the Beautiful fans to what this Logan daughter said this week. She thinks Steffy's disdain for her goes deeper than her relationship with Thomas. Hope thinks this is Steffy pulling up the floorboards and scooping out old dust that never settled. Hope Logan's go around with her mother and stepfather became pretty heated this week on Bold and the Beautiful. Still, you couldn't help but notice she talked about what made her happy. She said she felt special with Thomas, and she loved his devotion to her. But Hope didn't say that she's devoted to Thomas. She never mentioned anything about making Thomas Forrester happy. It seemed a bit one-sided to fans. It's more like what Thomas can do for Hope, which Steffy Forrester pointed out to her brother. Ridge Forrester, Thorsten K., picked up on his stepdaughter's train of thought. He listened to her as she professed her love for his son. But this week on Bold and Beautiful, he couldn't understand why she turned him down. Of course, Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, took her daughter's side in this. When Steffy Forrester showed up later, she was surprised that her stepmother wasn't as thrilled as she was that Thomas and Hope's relationship was tanking. Bold and the Beautiful fans think Steffy and her father have no business getting involved in Hope and Thomas' relationship. But some fans think their take on the Logan daughter's selfishness is spot on. That said, some fans saw Steffy Forrester dragging Hope Logan's mother into this as cruel. Then Steffy said to her stepsister that she had gone full Logan. Many Bold and Beautiful fans saw that as hitting below the belt. Thomas Forrester has given his all in this relationship. She says she's not ready to get married, yet she hasn't said she will marry him one day. Thomas makes her feel loved and idolized. She loves how Thomas seems so devoted to her and only her. So while she can spiel off all the ways Thomas enriches her life, the same can't say the same about her. He's great for her self-esteem. But Steffy, and now Ridge, try to get Hope to see that she can't use him just because he boasts her morale. So Steffy Forrester shouldn't butt into Hope Logan's relationship with her brother. But some Bold and the Beautiful fans see the situation as cruel to Thomas. Hope basks in all his attention without giving anything back, like the commitment he yearns for on the CBS soap. Head back to Soap Dirt for the latest Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. In the opulent world of high fashion and cutthroat business dealings, where glamour and intrigue dance hand in hand, two titans stand poised on opposite sides of the runway. Steffy Forrester, the embodiment of ambition and allure, and Hope Logan, the epitome of innocence and grace. Their clash is not merely one of aesthetics but of ideologies, where cruelty and selfishness become defining traits, leaving observers to ponder which path holds the true essence of righteousness. Steffy Forrester, with her raven hair cascading like a waterfall of midnight silk, commands attention with every step she takes. Born into the gilded halls of the Forrester dynasty, she is a force to be reckoned with, her gaze as piercing as the diamonds that adorn her neck. Steffy's cruelty is legendary, whispered about in the hallowed corridors of the fashion world. She maneuvers through life with the finesse of a seasoned predator, her every move calculated to achieve her desires. From the moment Steffy sets her sights on a goal, she stops at nothing to attain it, leaving a trail of broken dreams and shattered hearts in her wake. Her cruelty knows no bounds, as she manipulates those around her like pawns on a chessboard, using their weaknesses to her advantage. To Steffy, the ends always justify the means, and she revels in the power she wields over others. But beneath the veneer of steely determination lies a vulnerability that few are privy to witness. Steffy's cruelty is a defense mechanism, a shield she raises to protect herself from the pain of a tumultuous past. Beneath it all, she is a woman scarred by love and betrayal, haunted by the ghosts of her past. Yet she refuses to let her vulnerabilities show, masking them with a facade of indifference and ruthlessness. On the other end of the spectrum stands Hope Logan, a vision of purity and innocence wrapped in a cloak of golden locks and angelic features. Unlike Steffy, Hope's selfishness is born not out of malice, but out of a desire to protect those she holds dear. Raised in the shadow of her mother's tumultuous love affair with Ridge Forrester, Hope learned from a young age the importance of putting others before herself. Hope's selfishness manifests in her unwavering dedication to her family and loved ones, often at the expense of her own happiness. She sacrifices her own desires and aspirations on the altar of duty and responsibility, determined to shield her loved ones from the pain and heartache she herself has endured. Yet in doing so, she often finds herself trapped in a gilded cage of her own making, yearning for freedom and independence. Despite their seemingly opposing natures, Steffy and Hope are more alike than they care to admit. Both are fiercely independent women, determined to carve out their own destinies in a world dictated by patriarchal norms and societal expectations. Both are products of their upbringing, shaped by the trials and tribulations they have faced along the way. Yet it is their differences that set them apart, that make them the yin and yang of the fashion world. Steffy's cruelty may be born out of necessity, a survival instinct honed through years of adversity. But Hope's selfishness is a choice, a conscious decision to prioritize the needs of others above her own. In a world where the line between right and wrong is blurred, where shades of gray reign supreme, it is up to each individual to decide which path to follow. So, which one is right? The answer perhaps lies not in the actions of Steffy or Hope, but in the eyes of the beholder. For in the end, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and what one sees as cruelty, another may see as strength, and what one sees as selfishness, another may see as selflessness. In the grand tapestry of life, there are no easy answers, only choices to be made and consequences to be faced, and in the end, it is those choices that define who we are and who we aspire to be. Bold and beautiful exclusive. Jacqueline Massins Wood warns that Sheila's reign of terror is nowhere near being over. As much as bold and beautiful Steffy hates that her brother's heart has been broken, there's definitely one upside. Fighting with Hope has given Finn's wife something to do other than obsess over the fact she recently killed her mother-in-law. While that story seems to have been backburnered for the moment, something tells us that Steffy's not quite out of the woods yet where Sheila is concerned. I can't say much, Jacqueline Massins Wood teases us, but I will say that this situation is nowhere near over. It seems pretty unlikely that the police are going to just ignore what went down between Steffy and Sheila, especially given what had come before. On the one hand, Sheila gunned down both Finn and his wife, which certainly gave Steffy plenty of reason to be terrified when the madwoman showed up at her house that dark and stormy night. But then there's the fact that on more than one occasion, Steffy made it very clear that she wanted Sheila dead. Is she worried that the police might show up one day to arrest her? She worries about it, sure, acknowledges. Ridge assures her it was self-defense and says she has nothing to worry about. But we all know how things actually happened, and the optics of how things happened are something entirely different. In other words, Steffy could definitely still wind up in big trouble, especially if a particular piece of the puzzle doesn't fit Steffy's narrative regarding what happened that night. You'll recall that just before lunging, Sheila reached into her pocket. Part of what drove Steffy to plunge the knife into Sheila's chest was fear that history was about to repeat itself. Did Sheila intend to finish what she'd started in that alley by pulling out a gun and making sure this time Steffy was really, most sincerely dead? Or was there something far less dangerous in her pocket, perhaps a photograph of Finn or a gift for Kelly? Such a reveal might leave the police questioning everything about Steffy's version of what really happened, and while we, having served as silent witnesses, know she is telling the truth, an inability to prove as much could land the heroine behind bars. Should that happen, Wood is pretty sure she knows exactly what life would be like in the big house for her alter ego. Steffy would be friends with everyone, she laughs. She'd be running that cell block like the boss she is.